Thanks, Pete. It is out with the old and in with the new as the State Department of Transportation plans to redevelop Pier 7.
But the old, in this case, is a historic Hawaii ship. KITV4's Paul Drews reports on the changes that could be coming.
The Falls of Clyde has been a fixture at Honolulu Harbor for decades, but now the state not only wants to move it out, it also wants to remove it from its National Historic Registry.
Eustace Hawker came down to Honolulu Harbor just to check out the Falls of Clyde.
I just came down to look at it today and sent a video off to my family in Scotland to let them know, hey, what's about to happen to the Falls of Clyde.
What's about to happen is the state wants to get it out of Pier 7, where the ship's been moored for decades, and revitalize the pier, which has been vacant ever since the Hawaii Maritime Center closed in 2008. Meanwhile, the last iron-hulled, four-masted square-rigged ship in the world has been slowly falling apart. The ship was launched back in 1878 and was used to transport sugar, oil, and other supplies to and from Hawaii more than a century ago, and was most recently used as a floating museum. It was listed as a U.S. National Historic Landmark in 1989, but has fallen into disrepair and has sat unused for years. In an assessment this spring, the state found the structural integrity of the Falls of Clyde had deteriorated substantially. Water has to be constantly pumped from its hull, and without it, the ship would likely sink. In order to remove it from the harbor, the state has to remove it from the National Registry.
Had they allowed us to continue to come aboard the ship, we may have been able to abate some of the rusting, especially on the deck.
The nonprofit group Friends of the Falls of Clyde used to care for the ship until the state took over a few years ago. And Bruce still holds out hope a new home for the ship will be found outside of Hawaii.
If, in fact, there is some person or group of people who can come up with enough resources, and again, it would still have to be to remove the ship and get her to Scotland. That's where the effort needs to be put in right now, and it's possible.
I think it's worth preserving.
Over the years, there's been interest in efforts to move it or fix up the Falls of Clyde, but those efforts have fallen through. There have also been 2 times plans were made to sink the ship, but it still remains afloat, although its days in Hawaii seem numbered.
It's going to be a very, emotional ending to see her, leave the harbor. And as you said, it's been a passionate, heartfelt endeavor.
What will happen next with the Falls of Clyde is still uncertain. It could be taken offshore and sunk or shipped out of state. But either way, it looks like Falls of Clyde won't be at Honolulu Harbor much longer. Paul Drews, KITV4 Island News.